Welcome back to the Wicked Anvil, where the dwarves have seen a brief peace outside of the chaos of war. The fortress has been bustling with activity as the dwarves build luxurious new chambers to fit their recently arrived king, Monum. After years of relentless goblin attacks, life has started to return to normal, or so it seemed. A mysterious disease has now spread through the fortress, infecting the lungs of many dwarves and casting a shadow over their hard-earned peace. As our doctors prepared to take this challenge head-on, the King Monum has made a decisive move. The war effort was no longer on hold. 2 elite militia squads, the Hammerbanes and the Thunderspears, have been sent to the front lines to renew their campaign against the goblins. The king knows that to secure the future of both the Wicked Anvil and the dwarven species, the goblin threat must be eradicated once and for all. Thank you for coming to check out this dwarf fortress story. I hope you will stay for the journey of the Wicked Anvil. The weaponsmith Shorast was taken by a strange mood. Shorast decided to take a smithy down by the lava pools. A weaponsmith is always an exciting strange mood. He ended up making a steel mace which we donated to the King Monum. While Shorast was down at the smithies working very hard, the mountain homes arrived with over 6 wagons loaded down with trade goods. These wagons made their way over to our trading depot where our broker found them and started to trade a lot of our bone crafts, cut gems, and prepared food for things like works of literature from the mountain homes, a few extra tools, and any steel armor or weapons that they carried. We sent them home with a profit of about 7,000 in value. Now this is a loss that the Wicked Anvil will be mourning for seasons to come. Udil, one of our leader dwarfs, decided that her production order was more important than this gem cutter. The gem cutter Moldoth was a legendary gem cutter, and her death was the price to pay for the violation of a production order, apparently. In recent months, the progress on the king's tomb, bedroom, and dining hall have came along quite nicely. These rooms needed to meet the royal checklist, and so they had. Many of them containing artifacts or highly valuable gem windows, the king was now pleased with his living areas. The daily lives of the dwarves in the fortress stopped for a moment as they could feel the earthquakes beneath their feet. Within the second caverns of the fortress, 2 forgotten beasts were fighting. The 2 titans went at it, with Uzmaraz, an eyeless parrot with gray feathers that could breathe fire, came out on top. Sustaining many injuries, this beast continues to wander down in the caverns below. The King Monum and the Anvil Commander Ezum had a meeting. Monum told the commander that the war effort must continue. The goblins must be pushed back into their original lands. With recent attacks on fellow dwarven cities, the Wicked Anvil must do its job and create a wall between dwarves and the goblins. Ezum took both the Hammerbane squad and the Thunderspears and rode out to Spidery Bowels. This was a settlement we had attacked before, but in the recent years had grown in number. These 2 squads conducted a scouting mission, getting accurate numbers and what we would need to destroy them. They made it out with some loot, but didn't manage to kill anything on their scouting mission. While the 2 militia squads were departed, the population of the Wicked Anvil started work on a couple large projects, one of them being a new wood-burning, smithing, and smelting area. With the recent capture of larger expanses of our caverns, we have a lot of wood. This allows us to make a production area up top, hundreds of levels above the lava pools, where our original smelting area is. Until we can create a pump stack that is large enough to get the lava up top, this will have to do. The production of armor and weapons is of utmost priority. New temples and a new area to store built furniture were also constructed. Once Ezum and the 2 militia squads arrived back home at the Wicked Anvil, they gathered their supplies once again, equipped their armor and weapons, and went back out. This time not to scout the goblins, but to actively destroy the site of Spidery Bowels, marking the first destruction of a settlement by our dwarves since the Wicked Anvil was founded. With around 70 goblins there at Spidery Bowels, our 20 dwarves clad in dwarven mastercrafted steel armor and weapons should make quick work of them. With King Monum's blessing, Ezum the Anvil Commander set out to Spidery Bowels with his 2 squads of dwarves. And of course, Commander Ezum was successful in his mission. The 2 squads of militia dwarves actually managed to raze the Spidery Bowels settlement to the ground, leaving one less place for the goblins to hide. A dwarf named Saigon created an artifact of a gold armor stand. This armor stand was placed in King Monum's room, as it was offered to the government of Landash, the local government of the Wicked Anvil. This will be a prized possession of the fortress for as long as it stands. The Healing Lord has uncovered a strange affliction spreading amongst the dwarves, a disease that leaves its victims with labored, shallow breaths and growing weakness. Despite the dwarves' resilience, more and more of them are falling prey to this illness. Recognizing the dire threat this could pose, the Healing Lord has brought his findings to King Monum, urging immediate action. With the king's support, experiments and investigations are underway to uncover the cause of the disease. Is this a work of a dark curse, a hidden toxin in the caverns, or something far worse? The dwarves brace themselves, not only for the battles beyond their walls, but also for the silent struggle within. The Healing Lord works diligently, not only within the infirmary, but also within the books, trying to find a clue that will help him with his battle with the unknown. The Healing Lord singled out one of the dwarves named Cybrick. Cybrick has had trouble breathing for a very long time, but the Healing Lord has decided it is not the infection or the disease that has been troubling other dwarves, but wounds from a previous battle where Cybrick's chest had been crushed in, causing this dwarf now to have trouble breathing. The search will go on for the origination of this disease and how to cure it, but Cybrick doesn't have it. The King Monum received word of a goblin settlement named Malice Trailed, who had recently been attacking other dwarven settlements and stealing children from the dwarves. This drove the king into a mad rage. Immediately calling upon Ezum and the Hammerbane and Thunderspear squads, he sent them out to Malice Trailed to raise the settlement. The two militia squads ended up killing a total of 17 enemies, 7 of them being grown dwarves who had lived their whole lives believing they were goblins among the goblin population there in Malice Trailed. When Ezum and the two squads returned home, they did not know that they had been followed. The correlation between the weak defense of Malice Trailed and the missing population of goblins did not cross the commander's mind when he was there. Though as he returned home, he found the missing population waiting on them. The goblin raid on the Wicked Anvil began as an ambush. Following the returning militia squads, the cunning goblins managed to catch 4 of our elite dwarven warriors off guard outside of the fortress walls before they could enter the fortress. Despite the surprise attack, those brave dwarves fought valiantly, cutting down numerous goblin forces before succumbing to their overwhelming numbers. The goblins, emboldened by their initial success, launched a full-scale assault on the fortress. Their forces surged to the infamous trap hallway, where death awaited them at every turn. Blades and crushing stones ripped through their ranks, leaving a trail of fallen attackers. Within the fortress, a few of the dwarves saw nothing but blinding rage. Even against the orders of the Anvil Commander, they rushed out, attacking the goblin forces head-on. One by one, they also fell. Within the fortress, the Anvil Commander Ezum rallied the remaining soldiers. Standing firm in the hallway, the dwarves met the first wave of goblins head-on, cutting them down with precision and fury. The second wave crashed into the dwarven lines only to be met with the same fate, shattered under the unyielding might of dwarven steel. As the goblin horde watched their numbers dwindle and the relentless dwarves standing strong, their morale broke. Panic spread through the ranks and the chaotic retreat began. The goblin forces rushed back through the trap hallway, losing even more allies before they eventually exited the fortress. The fortress of the Wicked Anvil stood triumphant once again, the defenders proving that no enemy could breach its walls unchallenged. Losing 6 dwarves who were trained in the art of war and 2 of them being sent to the hospital, our militia squads had taken a hit. The Anvil Commander Ezum continued to prove his might amongst the dwarves. With the highest kill count of all of our militia squad, he has over 41 notable kills. The Wicked Anvil stands strong. This was only about 3 seasons worth of footage here. A lot has happened in the Wicked Anvil. With the arrival of the King, Ezum, the Anvil Commander's strong leadership, major dwarves within our fortress, the Wicked Anvil is doing pretty well. I'm certainly looking forward to more and more of this playthrough, as things are starting to really heat up. I just wanted to say thank you guys so much for the continuous support on these series, and thank you so much to the over 2,200, almost 2,300 of you that have subscribed to this channel. That means a ton to me. I am a smaller YouTuber, so the subscribes, comments, likes, everything like that helps me out so much, and I really appreciate you guys coming to check this out. So there's a link tree down below in my description if you want to check that out for some other socials, the merch, all that fun stuff. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you haven't watched the 10-year video for this fortress, it is on my channel in this playlist with the Wicked Anvil. And you should be seeing it right now along with another video. Go check that out if you haven't seen it. It's really cool. It's a lot of work, so thank you for going to watch that if you do or if you have. So I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.